Good morning and welcome to the annual City of Chino Veterans Day ceremony. I am Kevin Minson, the police chief for the City of Chino, and it is my honor to preside over today's ceremony. To begin, please stand as the Chino Valley Young Marines present the colors and remain standing for the national anthem, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation. Young Marines, please present the colors. The national anthem will be performed by Sophia Tuparin. Accompanying Sophia is Alyssa Farrell, who will be signing the national anthem. If you come forward, please.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Sophia and Alyssa. Now if I can have Leah Sung from Cub Scout Pack 205 come forward and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Place your right hand over your heart, left hand behind your back, ready, begin. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now if I can have Pastor Lon Wagner from Cross Point Church, would you come forward and join me at the podium to lead us in the invocation?
Almighty God, we are here this morning to honor our veterans. And so we come to you as the one who is sovereign over all. We ask that you watch over and protect our nation's military members and their families, that you would sustain them with your everlasting arms. And as they serve around the world, we ask that you would guard their families and loved ones back home. Provide them with peace and surround them with love as they miss their loved one and long for the return. May they find hope and strength in you for the challenges of each new day. Be with military children who endure the difficult burden of knowing their father or mother is in harm's way. Guard these children's hearts and minds despite the loneliness and the uncertainty of having a parent deployed. For each and every veteran who has served our country through the years, we thank you for their sacrifice. Comfort those who struggle in life after war. Help us to honor and care for those who have given so much for us. And be with our nation's leaders as well. Be with all who make decisions for our military. Give them wisdom and discernment in everything they do. Father God, we long for the day when swords will be beaten into plowshares and spears into pruning hooks. We long for your lasting peace. We long for your shalom. And so it's in your name that we pray. Amen. Thank you, sir.
The recognition of Veterans Day is an important day for our nation. Its origin and history are an essential part of who we are as Americans. To share with us the history of Veterans Day, please welcome Ethan Blay from Chino Rotary Club 201, who will come forward and read the history of Veterans Day.
The history of Veterans Day. On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918, World War I ended. This day became known as Armistice Day. In 1921, an unknown World War I American soldier was buried in Arlington National Cemetery. Similarly, unknown soldiers had been buried in England at Westminster Abbey and at France at the Arc de Triomphe. All of these memorials took place on November 11th to commemorate the end of the war to end all wars. In 1926, Congress resolved to officially call November 11th Armistice Day. Then in 1938, the day was named a national holiday. Soon afterwards, war broke out in Europe and World War II began. After the end of World War II, a veteran of that war named Raymond Weeks organized National Veterans Day with a parade and festivities to honor all veterans. He chose to hold this on Armistice Day. Thus began annual observations of a day to honor all veterans, not just the end of World War I. In 1951, Congress officially passed, and President Dwight Eisenhower signed a bill proclaiming November 11th as Veterans Day. Due to his part in the creation of the national holiday, Raymond Weeks received the Presidential Citizens Medal from President Ronald Reagan in November 1982. In 1968, Congress changed the national commemoration of Veterans Day to the fourth Monday in October. However, the significance of November 11th was such that the changed date never really got established. In 1978, Congress returned the observance of Veterans Day to its traditional date. Thank you.
Next, we move on to the presentation of our military branches. The 6 branches of the United States Armed Forces are represented by flags, among other emblems and insignia. Within each branch, various flags fly on different occasions and on various ships, bases, camps, and military academies. To honor the 6 branches of the United States Armed Forces, we will have representatives of each branch. Each flag will be posted next to the branch within the Liberty Courtyard. We begin with the flag of the United States Army. Representing the United States Army is E6 Staff Sergeant Ricardo Guzman. If you or a loved one are currently serving or have served in the United States Army, please stand while we post the Army flag. This we will defend. Thank you for our Army veterans. You may be seated. Next, we have the flag of the United States Marine Corps. Representing the United States Marine Corps is Marine Sergeant Stephen Coute. If you or a loved one are currently serving or have served in the United States Marine Corps, please stand while we post the Marine Corps flag. Semper Fi, always faithful. Thank you to our Marine Corps veterans. Please be seated. Next, we have the flag of the United States Navy. Representing the United States Navy is Petty Officer 3rd Class Charles Bridges. If you or a loved one are currently serving or have served in the United States Navy, please stand while the Navy flag is being posted. Semper Fortis, always courageous. Thank you to our Navy veterans. Please be seated. Next, we have the flag of the United States Air Force. Representing the United States Air Force is Staff Sergeant Martin Takeuchi. If you or a loved one are currently serving or have served in the United States Air Force, please stand while we post the Air Force flag. Aim high, fly, fight, win. Thank you to our Air Force veterans. Please be seated. Next, we have the flag of the United States Coast Guard. Representing the United States Coast Guard is Chief Petty Officer Matt Burgo. If you or a loved one are currently serving or have served in the United States Coast Guard, please stand for the posting of the Coast Guard flag. Semper Paratus, always ready. Thank you. To our Coast Guard veterans, please be seated. Lastly, we have recently added the United States Space Force. The U.S. Space Force was established December 20th, 2019, when the National Defense Authorization Act was signed into law, creating the first new branch of the armed services in 73 years. The establishment of the USSF resulted from widespread recognition that space was a national security imperative. If you or a loved one are currently serving or have served in the United States Space Force, please stand. Semper Supra, always above. Thank you. Please join me in thanking each of the Armed Services veterans. At this time, I'd like to invite Mayor Eunice Ulloa to share some special words about Veterans Day.
Good morning, and thank you all for joining us today. I'm honored to welcome you at our annual Veterans Day ceremony, which we enjoy every year. I want to take this time to thank each member of our armed forces and their families who are here today. Your service continues to inspire us. Can we give them another round of applause? Today, on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, we come together in gratitude to honor the brave men and women who answered the call to serve our country and to protect our way of life. We know that call wasn't easy. To serve your country deeply requires commitment, courage, and a profound love for our country and the ideas that it was built upon. To say goodbye to your friends, your family, and your loved ones to defend our freedoms, that's a form of bravery that deserves our highest respect. We're blessed to live in a nation that honors those who serve. From the establishment of Armistice Day over a century ago to the Veterans Day we observe today, America has always recognized the valor, the discipline, and the sacrifice of the American soldier. Throughout our history, millions of everyday Americans have stepped forward to defend our country's values. They come from different backgrounds, different beliefs, and hometowns, but they share one defining trait: a selfless willingness to serve. They're brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers, sons and daughters. They're classmates, co-workers, and neighbors. We see them in our schools, we see them in our churches, and in our parks, and in our stores. Their stories are woven into the fabric of our community. These individuals serve because they believe in something greater than themselves: the enduring American promise of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And as fellow Americans, it's our duty to take the time to say thank you. I'm proud to say that Chino is home to a strong and dedicated veteran community. Our city's history is filled with the stories of men and women who stepped forward to defend our nation and uphold its ideals. Many of them are here with us today, and we thank them from the bottom of our hearts for their courage and their service. But we know that true gratitude extends beyond one day out of the year. As citizens of this country, it's incumbent upon us all to ensure that our veterans and their families receive the support, services, and the gratitude that they have earned and deserve. This can take many forms. We can volunteer at our local VA, give to support services that help a veteran in need, hire veterans in our workplaces, or simply just sit down and listen to their stories. These actions are just a few ways we can show our thanks every day to those who have served. Our veterans fought to preserve our freedoms, and we must fight to ensure that they are well taken care of. As we stand here today in our Chino Liberty Courtyard, below our American flag, and surrounded by solemn reminders of those who sacrificed to preserve our way of life, I ask each of you to keep the spirit of Veterans Day with you all year long. Preserve that spirit of gratitude, that sense of pride in our country and reverence for those who bravely stepped up to defend it. Let that spirit remind you to give back, live honorably, and say thank you. To our veterans here today, thank you once again for your service, your sacrifice, and your enduring love of our country. May God bless you, the great city of Chino, and our wonderful United States. Thank you very much.
Next, I'd like to introduce our guest speaker. Our guest speaker today is Marine Corporal veteran and LAPD Lieutenant Gilbert Sanchez. Gilbert proudly served in the United States Marine Corps from 1988 to 1994, having participated in the Persian Gulf War in 1991 with the 2nd Light Armored Infantry Battalion. Following his military service, he joined the Los Angeles Police Department in 1995, where he dedicated more than 30 years to public service across a variety of assignments. He currently serves as a Lieutenant 2 in the Community Safety Partnership Bureau, continuing his lifelong commitment to leadership, community engagement, and service to others. He has been a Chino resident since 1996, where he and his wife raised their 2 sons, both Chino High School attendees. Gilbert was the Cub Master of Chino Pac 205 at Cross Point Church and continues to be involved in scouting as Assistant Scoutmaster at Chino Troop 201, where his youngest son is pursuing the rank of Eagle Scout. Gilbert believes service is a lifelong commitment worth every effort in order to build a better community. If I give a round of applause for Gilbert.
When I first was asked to be a speaker, I was honored to be here this morning and speak in front of you. But now that I see the whole crowd and my city, because that's where I live in, I see my fellow veterans, the leaders of our city, our community, I'm not just honored, but I'm humbled to be here. to be here this blessed morning, beautiful day that God has given us today. And to know that not only the sacrifices that we've all veterans have shared, have given, are worth something. And they're worth in what we see, what we feel, and the fact that we have created such a beautiful society in which we can express our beliefs and our differences. Just like the mayor had said, we come across from all walks of life to join the military, to be something greater than ourselves, and yet that purpose, that mission unites us all and brings us all to be one single meaning, one single person. So today, I am humbled to be here. And this morning, that humble became even more when a young man, little boy, Max, gave me this. Thank you for your service. And that reflects that the gratitude that not someone that was not even alive when I served is thanking me for something I did years ago. And as the years pass by and I reflect on, that day, the first day I would raise my hand and give the oath, it just reinforces the fact that we live in a beautiful place and everything we've done as veterans is worth it. So that, I'll start my prepared speech. Thank you. First of all, again, I want to say it is truly an honor to stand before you today as we gather to recognize and celebrate Veterans Day. This is a day that holds a deep meaning for me personally, as I'm sure it does for many of you. Veterans Day is not just another date in the calendar. It is a moment of reflection, a day when we pause to honor the men and women who have worn the uniform of our nation, who have stood watch and have answered the call to serve something greater than themselves. And when I was 17 years old and I raised that hand, I didn't understand what something greater than myself is. As gray hairs has come onto me, I stand back and reflect, and it is something greater than us. To be a part of a team, to be part of such a uniting force as it is to be serving, to serve others. As some people have said, is to write the United States a blank check, payable, on a future date for a mission unknown and a land unknown. Okay. When I think about the military service, I think of commitment. I think of the young men and women of our nation who raised their hand and took the oath to defend the Constitution, to protect their fellow citizens, and to do so without knowing the challenges lie ahead. Military service is not just about uniform or the rank. It is about duty, sacrifice, and brotherhood. It is about learning that the success of the mission always depends on the strength of the team. And we see that every single day here in Chino, as our people come together, our city workers make sure that the water's flowing in our pipes. As we see our firefighters make sure that they're there to answer the call in the middle of the night. As we see our coaches coaching in Ayala High School, Ayala Park, or even Ayala High School right now, and Chino High School, the wrestling teams, people giving something giving back. Such as farmers do here in Chino, everything grows. People putting something to the soil, and it'll grow. And what our veterans are given, is the fact that we give us all a chance to grow, to continue growing in this beautiful place we call home, Chino. For me, that sense of brotherhood was forged in the United States Marine Corps. I remember my first day in uniform, standing shoulder to shoulder with people from every part of this great country. And from kid from Baldwin Park who had never left the San Gabriel Valley, never really left the state, to meet people from states I've only heard about when I was reading geography in my high school, to hear different accents, and all of us to raise that hand and, stand before as a welcome to the United States Marine Corps by a kind gentleman known as a drill instructor who said, stand this black line, and basically don't speak until you're spoken to. We were different in every way, but we shared one thing in common, a sense of purpose. We learned quickly that no matter where you came from, once you put on that uniform, you became part of something, again, greater than yourself. You learned discipline, responsibility, and how to rely on others even when you were exhausted, afraid, unsure, or the challenge would be left unmet as long as you relied on that sense of teamwork, spirit of the Corps. So we never left the challenge unmet. And that's what our veterans do. They never leave a challenge unmet. You have met your veterans throughout your life. They've never dwelled on the fact that they served. They never tell you they're veterans. They just serve. At your butcher shop at Stater Brothers, they served, when you called a plumber. Just every walk of life, has our vets. So that's people that just want to serve. There were moments of pride when you knew you were making a difference, and there were moments of hardship, long nights away from home, missing family gatherings. I remember my first, Christmas away from home. I didn't have tamales that Christmas, so that was a pretty tough Christmas. I spent it out in a faraway place. But the furthest Christmas I spent was in Saudi Arabia, 1990. I remember that was a very lonely Christmas. And then just a few weeks later, I was crossing some berm into a place called Kuwait, having to meet some guys from Iraq, people I've never met before. But that is history. But that's the call that the oath that we gave. Watching your brothers and sisters in arms face challenges, weights that would test anyone's strength. Yet through all, it carried us, the bond we shared, which each of us believes in our efforts really mattered. And again, as a young person, I didn't realize how much it mattered until, it's grow older and you see the society we live in. It has its ups and downs, but it is the greatest place on earth, by far now that I've had a chance to travel. It is by far the greatest place on earth. Veterans Day to me is a day to remember that bond. It is a reminder that service does not end when you hang up the uniform. Every veteran carries those lessons forward into the communities, their families, and the work. Veterans bring leadership, resilience, and compassion, qualities that make our neighborhood and our nation a stronger and greater place. Today is also a day to honor the families who have stood behind those who serve. Every deployment, every training exercise, every goodbye comes with sacrifice, not only from the service member, but also from the loved ones who wait, worry, and support from home. Their strength often goes unrecognized, but is vital to the success of every mission. So again, right now as we stand, there are people serving throughout this world who have left something behind. Hometowns just like Chino, big cities like New York, places unknown, but they miss home every single day. And if it wasn't for the support that they have from their hometown, they could not carry on that mission. And as we grow older, we get gray hair again, and we become veterans, we know that support matters, and support matters just today, as my fellow veterans are here can attest to it. The support that this great place, this great city of Chino gives us is what keeps us going every single day to continue serving. No matter how old we get, no matter if we need help walking, you can always count on a veteran to lend a hand. As a Marine and a veteran of the Persian Gulf War, Veterans Day is a personal. It brings back faces and names, moments and laughter, loss. Reminds me of those who did not make it home and those who still carry the invisible wounds of war. It reminds me that freedom is not free. It is earned and preserved through courage and commitment. As the mayor has said, lend a hand to a veteran too. They are too proud to ask for help, but they're out there. I remember my son's first Eagle Scout project, my oldest son, was to help the veterans at March Air Force Base, Reserve Base. There is a community of homeless vets there. And to see the scouts get together and go out there and gather food items, clothing items, beddings, mattresses, and to be able to provide them a warm meal for that day, and to see that our scouts shared on those stories with the veterans was just fantastic. And we just got to recognize the fact that our veterans do need help. But Veterans Day is not just for those who served, it is also for every American. It is a chance for our nation to pause and reflect on the values that unite us. Service, honor, and gratitude. It invites each of us to look around and recognize that freedom we enjoy, we secure by ordinary people who did extraordinary things at one time. When we come together on this day, we strengthen that spirit of respect and unity. We teach our children that service is not noble, that sacrifice has meaning, and that gratitude should never fade with time. So as we celebrate today, I ask that we not only thank our veterans, but also commit ourselves to living in a way that honors their service, whether that means volunteering in our community, helping a veteran in need, or simply taking the moment to listen to someone's story. Those small acts of kindness reflect the very principles our veterans fought to defend. And to my fellow veterans, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your courage, your dedication, and your continued service to our nation. You have shown that what it means to live with honor and purpose. And to everyone here today, I thank you for taking the time to remember, to reflect, and to celebrate the true meaning of Veterans Day. May we continue to honor those who have served, by striving every day to build a nation worthy of their sacrifice. And on this beautiful, blessed day, I thank you, and God bless our veterans, their families, the United States of America. Again, thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Sanchez, for joining us. As a tribute to all our great heroes, I'd like to ask Chloe Swanson from Girl Cub Scout Troop 205 to come forward and read the poem titled Veterans Day.
On Veterans Day, we honor all who answered to a service call. Soldiers young and soldiers old fought for freedom, brave and bold. Some have lived while others have died, and all of them deserve our pride. We're proud of all the soldiers who kept thinking of red, white, and blue. They fought for us and all our rights. They fought through many days and nights. And though we may not know each and every name, we thank all veterans just the same.
Great job. At the City of Chino Council meeting on November 4th, the council presented a proclamation continuing the recognition of Chino as a Purple Heart City. The purpose and meaning of a city to being called a Purple Heart City is to honor and remember military personnel wounded or killed in combat with hostile forces. The Purple Heart is specifically a combat decoration. It was created by General George Washington in 1782 and was then known as the Badge of Military Merit and is the nation's oldest military medal. The citizens of Chino have great admiration and the utmost gratitude for all the men and women who have selflessly served their country and this community in the armed forces. Veterans have paid the high price of freedom by leaving their families and communities and placing themselves in harm's way for the good of all. The contributions and sacrifices of men and women from Chino who serve in the armed forces have been vital in defending the hard-won freedoms and liberties which are embodied in our Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States of America. The Purple Heart is awarded to those members of armed forces of the United States that have been wounded by an instrument of war in the hands of the enemy or posthumously to the next of kin in the name of those killed in action or those who have died of their wounds in service to their country. As a continued tradition here at today's event, we would like to ask all Purple Heart recipients or family members of Purple Heart recipients to please stand and be recognized. Thank you for your sacrifice. The City of Chino has created a dedicated webpage on the city's website to our Purple Heart recipients. For more information, please visit the City of Chino's website, /Purple Heart. For those in attendance, information will be available in the auditorium at the conclusion of this ceremony. We'd now like to honor our great country with another song. Please stand as Sophia, accompanied by Alyssa, perform God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairie, to the ocean, wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
The City of Chino has created so many special traditions over the years, and this Veterans Day ceremony is another strong example of our community's dedication to our military. At the conclusion of today's ceremony, please join us in the auditorium for a quick refreshment, see the various artifacts of Chino veterans, and slideshow of Chino residents who have served our country. Also, the Chino American Legion Post 299 will host an open house at the conclusion of today's ceremony. Please feel free to drop by and gather information about the many services available to active and retired service members at the American Legion, located on Central, just south of Schaefer at 13759 Central Avenue. So before I close up, I'd like to thank our partners, our Community Services, Parks and Recreation team. They were out here early this morning setting this up, and it's what another great ceremony, along with our administration team, Channel 3, of being able to have the cameras and everything set up. Let's give them a round of applause. To our military families who also sacrifice so their loved ones can serve, again, we thank you. Lastly, to our veterans, whose sacrifice we will never take for granted, we offer our humblest thank you for all you have done for us and our great country. This concludes our ceremony today, and on behalf of the City of Chino, thank you all for joining us.